Little red Corvette. That's what we're going to talk about today, this 1985 beautiful red Corvette. Let's get started. This one's actually owned by Leo, who owns the Lamborghini Murcielago. He also owns the goldish colored, I think it's a 30th anniversary Corvette back there. He also owns Cubey. You guys saw a Cube video not too long ago. That used to be our Nissan Cube. This one came in with a coolant leak. Also, the horn doesn't blow, and neither does the driver. And it had some issues with this power window right here. So we're going to take a look at what it costs to fix all these things. I've been hearing a lot of people in the car groups locally that are getting more interested in these old C4s because they're cheap and that they're actually very fun to drive. But we're going to find out today that I know some older gentlemen that say the older cars are so much easier to work on. And I'm going to tell you, no, they're not. Let's go ahead and dive in. This is the original 1985 General Motors water pump on this Corvette. And it wasn't even leaking. Let me show you where it was leaking. It actually was leaking at the gasket where it mounts to the engine block right here. But you got to remove the water pump to properly clean the mating surfaces to get a good gasket on there and put it back together. And we're not going to put the old water pump back on because sure enough, in 3 months, this one will be leaking. And then we'll be like, well, I thought we had that fixed. So, off came the water pump. I had forgotten how difficult these older engines are to work on until Grimes, which I'll go get him here in a minute, he started taking it apart. I was still thinking of like an LS-based 4.8 or 5.3. The water pumps are so easy on those. And he started taking stuff apart, and I was like, oh, that's right. They put brackets on top of brackets and stuff on top of stuff. And anyways, I'll go get Grimes. Let's take a look. All right, let's get this big boy open. So I actually traded places with Mrs. Wizard. It's actually difficult to see, but here you can see a brand new water pump right in through there.
Which is buried under everything.
Yes, so let's talk about, Grimes, everything you had to take off just to get the water pump off.
So we had to take the, I believe the secondary air pump, that's an emissions pump, alternator. I had to unbolt the bracket for the power steering pump, move it up out of the way, remove all of the secondary air EGR stuff, and also the AC compressor bracket had to come loose and be moved because this is still original R12 if I recall. Oh no, it has been converted to 134, but I didn't want to pull the system down. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much everything off the front of the engine has to come out.
And actually, a lot of these things bolt. You can see
either through it or on top of it.
Either through it or on top of the water pump. Yeah, you can't even get the bolts out or even get it out. If you can get it loose, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So the old mantra, the old cars are easier to work on, that doesn't prove to be true here, does it?
Not in the emissions era.
No, not in the emissions era. Back in these years, they like, what I told him is they stack brackets on top of brackets on top of brackets, and it's not fun. It's really, really much more difficult. Like on a Silverado with a 5.3 LS based engine, the water pump is cakewalk.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of electronic engine controls, emissions controls, all of that have really been scaled down as far as packaging. So they make it a lot easier to work on. This is kind of the advent of, you know, EGR and SAI and all of the electronic fuel injection, everything. It just, you know, it's older tech and it makes it complicated. So
right. And then so the next thing after we got that done, that's solved, we jumped into the horn issues, and you found that it had a blown fuse, which I'll show you here in a minute how it's not easier to work on older cars. But you can take a look down there. You can see we've replaced both horns. There's one on the left and one on the right. They were actually blowing the fuse. They actually kind of work. But what Grimes had to go through just to check the fuse is crazy. Let's hop into the interior. So tell us what you had to go through just to check a measly 10 amp fuse.
So the interior fuse box is actually on this side of the dash. There's one fuse that I think it's the instrument panel fuse and also controls the horns. But the horns also have a secondary fuse, which I had to remove the fascia from the dash cluster, had to remove the knob for the headlights, had to remove the vents, had to remove all of the trim around the radio, and then move the control panel out of the way. And right back here is one little 10 amp fuse, and that one's for the horns, along with all of your relays and everything, which are buried back here too.
And we would put a new fuse in there with the old horns and it would blow it again.
Yep.
So we knew the horns were the issue there.
Yep. And what I did is I actually tested the button, made sure the button was working, and then also tested the horns themselves. Mm-hmm. And one of them had a really high resistance, which was causing it to blow the fuse.
Pulling too much amps.
Yep.
That's so much easier to work on these old cars, isn't it?
Oh, it's super easy.
No. So this is in the era where they were experimenting with making plastic parts, seeing if they can lighten things up and simplify things, and as you can see,
that's not light or simple.
This is broken, the track is broken, so it's causing issues. The window actually attaches here on this plastic piece here, and as you can see, the track is broken. This is a common failure on these older C4 Corvettes, and there's actually, what Grimes found, there's an upgrade for it, where you don't even use this anymore. You basically toss this thing and completely forget about this plastic garbage. We're not going to even talk about this anymore. Now we're going to go to the door and show you what we did. So as you can see, Grimes has installed the upgraded one, which was actually 87 to 92, somewhere around in there. It's the later models of the C4s. They knew they were having problems with that cheap plastic garbage, so they themselves upgraded to these metal framework here. You actually have to drill a few holes down here to make this work. He already got that done. As you can see, it's now kind of an older school metal framework with the scissor arms and all those things. Was it real difficult to do?
Not too bad. Once you have all of the measurements and everything and you get the old one out, you do actually have to, they don't tell you to remove the glass, but it's a lot easier. One of these little studs here, you have to exchange it with a shorter one or cut the old one down. And then, yeah, you go off of one of the existing holes, measure it out, and drill 2 holes for the bottom of this one because the old regulator bolts through that hole and then one up there where that track comes all the way down.
Well, getting it all mounted in wasn't even the final thing you had to do. You actually had to switch some wiring around.
Yeah, so the motor, for some reason on these, is reverse polarity. Mm-hmm. So you have to just depin the connector on the car side and flip the wires around.
Was it this one here?
No, it's actually this one right here. That one. There we go, that one.
Okay, so you just switch the wires around. And
so you'd think blue would go to blue, but blue actually goes to red, and then this peach-colored wire will go back to the blue.
Okay, and it works great now, huh?
Yep.
Super.
Yeah, all that's left now is just doing final fit and adjustment, make sure that it seals against the frame and all of that.
Okay.
Which is done with these 2 here, and then you've got the up-stop adjustment there.
Very good. So just to get down to that regulator and change it out, you have to take this metal plate off, which has the door handle, as you can see. And then this is the actual door panel, which luckily is just screws, it's not clips.
No, just all Phillips head screws. They're actually kind of buried under the carpet there, all the way around.
That's not too bad then.
No, it's like pretty much every GM of that era, and most Fords.
And then here's our blown horns that don't blow anymore.
Yeah, the non-blowing blown.
Yep, so these were bad. That was what was blowing the fuse. And here we are years and years later, like on this Ferrari California, where you think automakers would have learned from making these cheap plastic parts that they'll break. But if you saw in the previous video, which Danielson has actually finished doing now, it's fixed, he had to replace a bunch of plastic slides and guides inside the rails in the convertible top and upgrade them to metal so it actually can work and not break. So they still haven't learned.
Yeah. No, I think there's certain components that should definitely be made a little bit more durable, but I mean the automakers, it's all about the bottom line and how quickly and cheaply they can produce it.
Yeah, and once the warranty's over, they're not concerned about it anymore.
Yeah.
So there were several times while you were working on this that you made comments. It's like, this is a lot harder than it really should be.
Yeah, mostly on the water pump.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much true for anything, you know, kind of forward-leaning as far as technology goes. Back in that era, like my own personal car, you know, the Super Coupe, it's, you know, it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of things stacked on top of other things. And
Yeah.
the water pump involves removing the power steering pump pulley and a bracket that, you know, nobody knows why it's there, and a lot of people don't put it back, and it's a lot of that. So
It's like in the generation of mechanics, the ones would be older than me or even older, the next generations above me, they really didn't understand computers, and trying to comprehend the systems involved was harder for them than just dealing with what you dealt with on this, all the mechanical crap that was aggravating. So in their mind, this is easier to work on because this does have computers, but it's not as computerized as today's cars. Where me and Grimes are now of a generation where give us all the computers, all the things, all the modules, we will happily work on those than to have to fight with some of this stuff. So I'll let you go back to your break and we'll finish out this video.
all right.
Thanks for sharing. So if you've watched in the past, there's been several videos we've made where we've taken dashes apart and things to get to the HVAC box because there's plastic doors, plastic gears, plastic actuators. I told you guys a story a while back where a plastic actuator had teeth broken inside of it on a GMC Envoy. It was going to be over $1,500 to replace a little gear because we had to take the whole dash out. And the guy was so angry. He wasn't mad at Omega. He had no beef with Omega, but he was so angry. He was like, I'm not allowing General Motors to get my money. I was like, but bro, you're still not fixed your car. It's still broken. The car, being mad is not going to get your car. Anyways, I was like, whatever, dude, just go. It's actually gotten pretty bad with the Bentley Continentals, where the rear trunk actuator has plastic teeth inside, and someone inadvertently, accidentally, manually closes the trunk when you're not supposed to do that on a Bentley. You push the button and let the motor do it for you, and they strip the teeth out. Or, just with age, over time, they break from just being weak teeth. And it can fall on you and try to eat your hands and crush your hands. It can be very painful. There's actually a company called Additive Restoration that made me a bunch of upgraded gears. I actually have them in stock here, so on the Bentleys I can replace them with better material that'll last a lot longer, and there's actually some metal gears that I put inside as well. What is this all going to cost on this job? Probably around $2,000, because the water pump is not like the LS motors I've been mentioning, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. No, this is a 4-hour job at $150 an hour. And then the cost of the water pump, and then the antifreeze. We had to tear this whole door apart and pull out that jankety old style window regulator that has the track on it and convert it over to an upgraded style so it'll last much longer and won't break so easily. Just the regulator was $300. And then we had quite a bit of time trying to figure out where the hell is the fuse for the horn. Grimes went through the fuse box 5 times. And it's like, I don't get it. And finally he went digging on the internet and found a place where they said, oh yeah, you have to take half your dash apart and it's hidden behind a little panel. I don't know why they did that. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we did find the problem. We got that fixed. But that took some time too. So it added up pretty fast, $2,000 to get all this solved. So I have friends that are looking at these C4 Corvettes and they're like, I can get one of these for $4,000, Car Wizard. And I'm like, yes, and it'll be $5,000 to get it sorted. And they laugh at me. And one guy actually just bought one. A year later, he comes back to me and says, you were right. I have double what I spent on the car, getting it finally to a level that I'm comfortable with, that I'm happy with. I don't know. What do you do about it? You have to kind of decide within, not so much the value, or is it just worth it because you really like the car. We got Leo taken care of. His water pump is not leaking anymore. His window works. His horns blow. Still not the driver. And we got everything else taken care of. So we'll give him a call and let him know his Corvette's ready to rock. He can blast some Prince and play Little Red Corvette and cruise down the road. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Way in the description below. She's got videos there. Also, she's made a lot of the artwork that you guys have seen. She sold a batch. She's got a second batch done. It's going up on eBay. Also, check out our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and really appreciate it. And it has all the tools we use in the shop for sale there. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because there's many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.